Before I begin this video, I would like to make a small public service announcement. Unless you have to go to work, as in you have you can't work from home, or you need to buy food, or you need to buy medicine, please do not leave your house. The damage from this pandemic will only get minimized as long as you do this. Do not go outside. Do not go outside, and unless you absolutely have to, which is for work, medicine, or food. That's the only reason. And try to do it as minimal as possible. And please stop overbuying stuff. The mouthwash I usually use has now been sold at over several pharmacies. It's annoying. Please stop. You're not the only ones who are suffering through this crisis. But enough about that. Now let's talk about something that hasn't been affected too much by the crisis, in that it's still happening. WrestleMania 36. Yeah. This show's going ahead tonight, actually, because it's over 2 nights, because it's too big for 2 nights, and too big for 1 night, which is the tagline, which, yeah, but still, which people have argued before, but, you know, that's what we're doing. It's 16 matches yet again. And I don't think anything has been said on the pre-show, and the pre-show is only an hour this time around. I looked at the WWE Network, and apparently night 1 is set to be from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock my time at the very least. So it's only supposed to be 3 hours long. That's weird. But hey, that's what we're getting. But hey, we'll see how that goes. I'm not going to look over my computer screen because it's over there, and I'd rather not do the video like this. So instead I wrote down every single match. This is from Wikipedia. Yeah, so of course subject to change, but at the moment this is what's written down. And we'll start with a match. We'll start with I don't know which matches are happening on which night. I don't think they've announced that yet. So I'm just going to go through the matches from some order on Wikipedia, in reverse order on what's written, with a few changes here and there. But anyway, let's start off with Elias versus Baron Corbin, which I'm not entirely sure is going to happen at all. I mean, they still advertise it, it's still set to happen. But after what happened on SmackDown when Elias got thrown off the ramp by Corbin, are we even sure this match is even going through? It might. That match might just be reduced to Elias comes out and Corbin is then jumped by Mojo Rawley and Gronk. They beat down Corbin, Elias pins him, and that's all. Possibly. But the more likely scenario I see is that this match might... I don't even know if this match will happen, but a likely thing I would see happen is that Corbin comes out and asks for the old count to 10, and if he doesn't show up, he's forfeit. It's a forfeit, and Elias does, but then Gronk comes out and says, okay, Elias can't compete, so you're facing Mojo Rawley. Something like that. So I'm going to say Corbin's going to win the match against Elias, because I don't think Elias is even going to be there. He wasn't on SmackDown today, or yesterday, so yeah, I don't see that happening. Next, we have another match that doesn't really make any sense for why it's even happening at WrestleMania. Aleister Black versus Bobby Lashley. This one's pretty simple as well. Aleister Black is currently on a bit of a momentum rolling, and Bobby Lashley hasn't appeared on Raw once. Yeah, Aleister Black's winning this one. I'm not going to waste too much time. I want to try and not make this video 2 hours long like I did last year. So yeah, let's get through that. Next, the Women's Tag Team Championship match: Asuka and Kairi Sane versus Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. I know the smart thing to do here would be to pick Alexa and Nikki, considering that they have been... they're more active on the show. Hell, Kairi hasn't even shown up on the TV for quite some time. But that being said, I can't for the life of me bet against Asuka because, you know, I'm willing to do it sometimes, but I'm sorry. I feel like with how Asuka has been used over the past few weeks, how she's been the highlight of pretty much every show she's been on, why not give her a win at WrestleMania? Why not have her win and retain her championships? Why not? Why not just give her a win? She's the greatest thing in the world. Let her win, please. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just going to go for Asuka and Kairi to retain. I know it's probably not a smart decision, but I'm voting with my heart here. So, yeah. I'm going for Asuka and Kairi purely because I just want Asuka to win at WrestleMania for once. She lost her streak to Charlotte at 34. She wasn't even on the main card at 35. She was in the pointless pre-show battle royal, which she lost. Sorry about that. So yeah, I really don't have anything else to say about that. I feel like Asuka deserves a win at WrestleMania, and I want it to be now. Next up, the Intercontinental Championship match. Sami Zayn versus Daniel Bryan. I have two reasons to believe that Sami Zayn is going to retain. The first being that Sami Zayn has two people on his side while Daniel has one. Sami has Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro, while Daniel has Drew Gulak. And two, so I see more chance of interference there. And two, this is the important one, Brie Bella, Daniel Bryan's wife, has said that after WrestleMania he is going into quarantine. Which in my eyes, means that Daniel Bryan is going to lose. Because if he's going into quarantine, why would you give him a championship? Just have Sami Zayn retain. It's too early for him to lose it anyway. Just have Sami retain, and he can do stuff on TV if there is any TV going forward. But that's what I'm going for. I'm going to say Sami Zayn is going to retain because of the reasons I just mentioned. Next up, let's go through the tag team title matches first. The Street Profits versus Angel Garza and Austin Theory. It was meant to be a team of Angel Garza and Andrade, but Andrade got injured, so they've put in Austin Theory for reasons. And, you know, when I say put in Austin Theory for reasons, I don't see any point in giving this makeshift tag team the Raw tag team titles. I feel like the Street Profits are going to retain. This one seems pretty cut and dry for me. The Street Profits are retaining, and hopefully Austin Theory goes back down to NXT after that, because I feel like Austin Theory just barely started in NXT, and he was just starting a feud with Tyler Breeze, and then all of a sudden he got put up on Raw. Well, and I just feel like you don't need that. Like, yeah, sure, trying times, we're going through some very rough times at the moment, so we need all hands on deck, but I feel like Austin Theory needs to just be in here to have a decent match with the Street Profits and then ultimately lose. You don't necessarily have to have him take the pinfall, but he could, for all I don't really care, but really, Austin Theory back down to NXT after he and Angel Garza loses. That's what I think. But yeah, Street Profits retaining. Next, what is supposed to be a triple threat tag team ladder match for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships with Miz and John Morrison versus the Usos versus the New Day. However, reports are suggesting that match isn't happening, at least not in the way it's supposed to, because The Miz turned up to the recordings for SmackDown and WrestleMania sick, which means that he was sent home, which means that this match is probably not going ahead of the way it is. Now, they still haven't said anything about that on SmackDown. I thought they were going to, but no, apparently not. But yeah, John Morrison and The Miz are apparently still advertised, but I have a feeling that they're now going to switch it to a triple threat ladder match, just a triple threat, no tag match, and you pick one from each team. You pick John Morrison, obviously, one of the Usos, and I assume Kofi Kingston. Just have them get involved in that match, and whoever wins the SmackDown Tag Team titles. I am torn on this one. I don't know for certain if that's how they're going to do things, but, I'm sort of leaning, towards maybe since The Miz is sick, that you want to take the titles off of John Morrison and The Miz, and therefore give the titles to the Usos, maybe. Because they brought up an interesting statistic has been brought up that the New Day has 7 tag team title reigns while the Usos has 6. So if you want to even that out, the Usos win the tag team titles. I don't know for certain if that's what's going to happen, but I feel like I'm going to take that risk and go for it. I'm going to say the Usos are going to win this ladder match, and the Usos win the tag team titles, and Morrison can maybe do something as a singles talent going forward while The Miz is recovering. Next up, let's go to Edge versus Randy Orton in a last man standing match. This one's pretty cut and dry. It's Edge's first singles match back after he came out of retirement. This feud has been building on Randy Orton trying to end Edge's career, and he's just come back, and apparently he's signed a 3-year deal. So yeah, he's not losing. Edge is going to win this match, and hopefully this match will be great because the build-up has been excellent, and I really hope this match is really good. It might even benefit from having no crowd, so they could basically wrestle all over the place. It's a last man standing match. It can end anywhere. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. Well, a lot. But yeah, Edge is going to win. Next up, Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins. Another match that looks to be pretty good. One thing in the build-up that I've looked at kind of puts one thing I've looked up at the build-up kind of puts me in the thought process that Seth Rollins is going to lose this match. And that's the fact that they built up the whole fact that, Kevin Owens has never had a big WrestleMania moment. Kevin Owens has never had a huge WrestleMania moment, despite the fact that he actually has. He beat Chris Jericho at WrestleMania 33 for a United States Championship. But apparently they want to ignore that because apparently these days you can't talk about Chris Jericho. Because, he works for the rival promotion. Anyway, because of that, I feel like they want to set up that Kevin Owens gets his big Mania moment by beating Seth Rollins. So yeah, I'm going to go for Kevin Owens on this one. Let's see. Have I forgotten a match here? I think I might have. Yeah, I think I have. I forgot to write down a match. Otis versus Dolph Ziggler. I forgot to write that down. Otis versus Dolph Ziggler. Up until the recent episode of SmackDown, I actually had a thought in my head that Dolph Ziggler was going to win this match because I had a sinking feeling that Tucker was going to turn on Otis, and it was going to be revealed that he was the one who sent the text. He was the one who was sick and tired of Otis getting in the way of his tag team title career here because of his infatuation with Mandy. But if you watched last week's SmackDown, sorry about the motorcycle in the background. But if you watched the last SmackDown, you will know that they've revealed that it was Sonya who sent the text. They revealed that Mandy knows about the plot against her, which of course means that whole thing was thrown out the idea. So I'm glad I decided not to do the predictions video until after SmackDown, because that means I can now firmly say Otis is going to win this match. I don't feel any need to say any more. How about that? Otis is now going to win because of, well, you saw what happened. It would feel weird if Dolph were to win this match. So yeah, Otis is going to win this match. Okay, next up. Yeah, let's talk about this one, because I've talked about this one for quite a while, over a number of years, because I've wanted this match. And then it didn't happen the way I wanted it to happen, but it is happening. Undertaker versus AJ Styles. Now, if you watched one of my previous videos, you will know I've wanted this match for quite a while, and I had some concerns. Those concerns have been amplified the last few as we've gone along. And I am so concerned about everything. Just everything that's going on. Because I feel the build-up has been so wrong for this entire match. The fact that Undertaker has a pinfall victory over AJ Styles because of Saudi Arabia. The fact that he cost AJ Styles a match against Aleister Black. The fact that they've turned this storyline into breaking down characters, referring to each other by their real names. You know, Mark Calloway and Alan Jones. The fact that Taker has apparently turned into some sort of hybrid of Biker Taker and the Dead Man. And yes, he's a hybrid. He's not just Biker Taker. If you listen to the promo he did recently, at the beginning of the promo, the way he says, AJ Styles, that sounds more like the Dead Man than it does the Biker. But then he switches to Biker mode, talks like that for a while, and then you get to the final second when he talks about the unholy trinity. How you will feel the pain, you will suffer, but most importantly, you will rest in peace. And then there's a tombstone behind them. Does that sound like the Biker to you? That sounds like the Dead Man to me. So yeah, it's a hybrid sort of thing. And what's worse, they've called it a Boneyard Match. But they haven't explained what said Boneyard Match is. Like, is it a buried alive match in an actual graveyard? Is it a scrap yard? Is it gonna be full of weird, spooky bullshit? I don't understand. I really don't get what's going on. I am so lost as to what's going on with this match. But it is happening, which I probably should be happy about. But it's not happening the way I wanted it to. I wanted this match to be a clash of legends. I wanted AJ Styles versus Undertaker to be a clash of legends, to see the Phenom versus the Phenomenal. These two clashing in the wrestling ring, and AJ could possibly get a decent match out of the Dead Man. But that's not how we're going about this. And yeah, I get it. Desperate times, desperate measures. I understand all that. This is probably not what they were going for, but that's what's happening. So yeah, I said this in my previous video about this match, because of what happened in Saudi Arabia and because of what happened in the Elimination Chamber, AJ Styles kind of has to win, doesn't he? Otherwise, he's being made an absolute fool of in this whole feud. And if the rumors are to be believed, Undertaker looks at AJ Styles as the modern day Shawn Michaels. Wouldn't he want to cement him a little bit more, make him look better? That's not what's been happening right now. My hopes is that AJ wins, and maybe it is a buried alive match, and Undertaker gets buried, rises from the grave as the dead man, and we set up a match for him at a later point. Maybe next year's WrestleMania. I would like to see a rematch where they're actually doing a proper match. But I have a feeling that this is a one and done. This is the match I'm getting. Hopefully there's at least something to enjoy about it. But yeah, I feel this is annoying me a lot. I really wish this match was better. It was better built. I really, really wish that this match just wasn't this. Anyway, let's talk about the next match. I've already said I think AJ has to win, so I'm picking AJ Styles. That might be a bad idea, but I'm going for AJ Styles because he kind of has to win. Next up, the SmackDown Women's Championship a Fatal 5-Way Elimination Match. I think at least that's how you say it. You have Bayley, the SmackDown Women's Champion, of course, defending against Lacey Evans, Naomi, Tamina, and Sasha Banks. Shall we go over who most likely to win? Lacey Evans, not a chance. She has lost multiple times to Bayley, and most recently at the Rumble, very clean, so no, that's not a chance. Naomi, she just lost in Saudi Arabia, so I really don't think she's going to win here. Tamina, I would laugh so hard if she actually were to win. Like, she's the most unlikely, probably the most undeserving, but I would laugh so hard if Tamina actually won. But she's not going to. We all know that. She is not going to win. I would laugh a lot, but no, she's not winning. Which leaves us with Bayley and Sasha Banks. Now, a lot of people have been talking about how this would probably set up a feud going forward. And I kind of agree with that. They've also been saying that it's going to be Bayley who's going to retain, setting up a Sasha Banks babyface turn going into whatever is next, if there even is another pay-per-view after WrestleMania. I disagree with this in the sense that I really don't want Sasha Banks to turn face. I really, 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 really don't want Sasha Banks to turn face because she's terrible at it. Sasha Banks to me is what I classify as a natural born heel. If you don't know what that means, a natural born heel is someone who sucks as a babyface but is really good as a heel. And that's what I feel Sasha Banks is. She's in the same category as Randy Orton or Alberto Del Rio. Terrible babyfaces, but pretty damn good heels. And that's what I think. Sorry, my head has been itching a little bit. But anyway. So I'm going to say... my neck is also pretty bad. I'm going to say that it's Sasha who turns on Bayley in the match and ends up winning the SmackDown Women's Championship, cementing her as the major heel on SmackDown. Does that turn Bayley babyface? Maybe. Her heel run hasn't exactly been well received. But to me, it doesn't really matter. As long as Sasha doesn't turn babyface. Please do not turn Sasha Banks babyface. She's terrible at it. But yeah, I'm going for Sasha Banks on this one. Next up, a Firefly Funhouse match. John Cena versus The Fiend. I feel this is a pretty close and shot thing. After what happened with The Fiend, a Fiend at Saudi Arabia, when Goldberg destroyed him, I don't think there's any riddle here that he needs to be rebuilt. He needs to get some momentum back. And the best way to do that is to get revenge on the man who screwed him over all those years ago, that being John Cena. He needs to beat John Cena. It's just, he has to. The Fiend has to win. This is a Firefly Funhouse match, so anything can happen. I mean, hell, on SmackDown, we got our first glimpse of seeing The Fiend and Bray Wyatt as two separate entities. So hey, maybe this match could turn into a handicap match of sorts. Bray Wyatt and The Fiend, and possibly the rest of the Funhouse, versus John Cena. I don't know what this match entails, but that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for something like that. But anyway, I am very much leaning towards The Fiend. The Fiend beating John Cena. He kind of has to. So yeah, that's what I'm going for. Next up, the Raw Women's Championship match. Becky Lynch versus Shayna Baszler. Again, my mouth is just going way overboard for some reason. But yeah, this match, I'm really worried. I'm worried that we're going into another Asuka situation. A long-reigning NXT Women's Champion goes up to the main roster, has a huge momentum built for her going forward. Ultimately, to get to WrestleMania for a title match and lose. That's what happened with Asuka. And I'm so worried that it's going to happen to Shayna as well. Please don't do that, WWE. Just do the right thing here and have Shayna crush Becky Lynch. It can be a competitive match, but ultimately, Becky has to lose. Shayna has to become the new Raw Women's Champion. That is what needs to happen. Okay? So yeah, I'm going for Shayna Baszler. She has to win. Otherwise her momentum is completely shot. Next up, the NXT Women's Championship match. Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair. I feel that this match could be a good showcase for NXT. And what would make it a good showcase for NXT? Have Rhea Ripley retain. Please. Do not have Charlotte win this match. Make NXT seem important by having Charlotte lose. She can afford to lose. She's already a big star. She can afford to lose. Rhea Ripley, at this point, it's too early for her to lose the title. She's a brand new champion. She's had like one, maybe two title defenses so far. I think she needs to be built as someone's big. She beat Shayna, for Pete's sake. Have her look strong. Have her look strong going forward. And then she can lose to, well, I would say lose to Io Shirai, but she can lose to someone else as well. But just please do not have Charlotte win. Do not. Have Rhea Ripley retain. Please. Okay, that's everything. Time for the 2 world title matches. And first, up until the last SmackDown, we have a match that we didn't know who was going to participate in. We now do. Goldberg defending his Universal Championship against Braun Strowman. They announced it just quickly, just out of nowhere. It's no longer Roman Reigns, as both he and Triple H have mentioned. He pulled out of WrestleMania due to health concerns, and Braun Strowman has been slotted in at the very last second. And because he was slotted in at the very last second, Goldberg, I think, is going to retain. He was slotted in at the very last second. Braun Strowman, whenever he's been put up for the Universal Championship, has always come up short. And I don't think this is going to be any different. Braun Strowman is going to lose, unfortunately, and we're going to have to just have Goldberg stay champion for a while until we can find someone to take the title off him. Or maybe they will just hold off until Reigns can come back, which, again, this pandemic, I'm telling you, it's going to last a long time. We might not, these restrictions that are going on, if the rest of the world is smart, they will hold these restrictions going for the rest of the year, possibly longer. But yeah, I do not see fans being allowed back into wrestling or Roman Reigns coming back to work, possibly for the rest of the year. Who knows? I really don't see SummerSlam happening the way people want it to. Some people say, oh, we're going to have things ready by SummerSlam. No, we're not. I am convinced it's not going to be. SummerSlam is not happening the way it's supposed to. It might happen in an empty arena, but that's the way it has to be. I really don't think, and I don't think anything's changing so far. But yeah, Goldberg, I think, is going to just retain since it's Braun Strowman. If they had done what fans were suggesting, which is have this John Cena versus The Fiend turn into a number one contenders match, The Fiend wins and then goes on to challenge Goldberg, I might have been singing a different tune. But since it's Braun Strowman, no, this is Goldberg. Goldberg's going to win. I would advise WWE not to have him do the jackhammer and just have him win with the spear. Here, because he couldn't do the jackhammer turn into a brainbuster when he did it to The Undertaker. It turned into a regular ass suplex when he did it to The Fiend. I highly doubt he can do it to Braun Strowman. So please, just have him win with a spear. I mean, yes, there's a possibility that Braun could win, but I don't hold my hopes up for that one. I'm going for Goldberg. And finally, what I hope so badly is the main event of night 2, Brock Lesnar versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. This one is pretty cut and dry as well, because to me, I don't care if there are no fans in the arena. It's not the win that Drew would probably deserves. He should win. Drew should win this match. Have him win the WWE Championship. Don't shoot his momentum down. Don't have Brock win, because if you do, his momentum is going to be absolutely crushed by the time you actually do the match, which might not be until next year's WrestleMania. So just get it over with. Just have Drew win. Just have Drew win the title. Have him win the WWE Championship. Send Brock home to Canada so he can just go and quarantine himself. And please, do not do something stupid. Do not have Brock win. Have Drew win. Have Drew become WWE Champion. Just all the momentum he's been building up ever since he won the Royal Rumble is going to be completely destroyed if he doesn't win here. He has to win. You have to strike while the iron is hot. Yes, it's not ideal that he can't win in front of fans, but he should. Don't delay that win. Don't ruin it by having Brock win. Have Drew McIntyre win the WWE Championship. So yeah, I'm picking Drew. So a quick recap for those of you who don't remember. I'm going for Baron Corbin, Aleister Black, Asuka and Kairi to retain, Sami Zayn, the Street Profits, the Usos, Edge, Kevin Owens, AJ Styles, Sasha Banks, The Fiend, Shayna Baszler, Rhea Ripley, Goldberg, and Drew McIntyre. Oh, and I forgot to write down, but Otis. But Otis is winning. So yeah, those are my predictions. We'll see if they're right. I'll see you tomorrow with my thoughts on night 1.